Many times when I tell people what I do, I'm a reverend, I'm a spiritual guide, and I'm a hypnotist. Of the many things that I do, when I mention that I'm a hypnotist, they may respond to me, Christians are not allowed to do hypnosis or something along those lines. I've had people tell me, my pastor says I'm not allowed to do hypnosis. My minister says hypnosis is against the Bible. One of these responses will come up because I'm Christian. I cannot do hypnosis. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this response. And I've been asked by Christians, should I do hypnosis? And my response is, it depends, because we have belief systems within us that if you have the belief that hypnosis is not for Christians, it's against the Bible, then hypnosis would not be for you because you already have that belief acting like a veil to prevent hypnosis from working on you. So I want to take an opportunity to clarify, first of all, what is hypnosis? And second of all, what does the Bible really say about it? So, what is hypnosis? There's a lot of ideas out there that hypnosis is taking over your brain, making you do something, making you bark like a dog or act like a duck or behave in ways that you would normally behave. They have an idea of what hypnosis is. Hypnosis is not that. Hypnosis is actually a natural state. It is also another name for trance. So hypnosis and trance are used interchangeably in the work that I do. So trance state is a natural human state. You are in a state of trance when you're sitting down relaxed and watching TV. So if hypnosis is not for Christians, that means watching TV or putting yourself in a trance state would also be not for Christians. And this just does not make any sense at all. And so again, my response is, it depends. So let's just take a look at a couple of the scriptures that people will tell me to prove to me that hypnosis is against the Bible. And one of the first scriptures that they'll mention is Deuteronomy 18:9 through 23. And I'm using the English Standard Version, and I'll read that to you right here. It says, when you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominable practices of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or his daughter as an offering, anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes or interprets omens, or a sorcerer or a charmer or a medium or a necromancer. This is somebody who raises dead people back to life. Or one who inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord your God is driving them out before you. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God. So when they give me the scripture in Deuteronomy as proof that hypnosis is against the Bible, it doesn't say anything that you shall not go into trance. This is something that you do within you. Nothing outside of you can help you in trance. And when I work with people, the work that I do, the first thing I ask is permission. So once I have permission to guide you into this natural state that is you, that we're calling a state of hypnosis or a state of trance. This is naturally you. And we work in this space to heal, create your healing team, and to make massive transformations from the inside out. So in no way are we doing any kind of divination. We, of course, are not burning our children as an offering. We're not telling the future. We're not interpreting any omens. We're not a sorcerer or a charmer or a medium. A medium speaks to dead people. So I'm going to say I disagree with using this scripture as a reason for saying hypnosis is not for Christians. And then another scripture they'll add is Romans 12:2, and the English Standard Version says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." So it's interesting that someone had used this scripture as proof that Christians should not use hypnosis. However, I turn this around. It says, well, did you test it? Because it says that by testing, you may discern what is the will of God. And so with the hypnosis that I work with on my clients, we go inside. And this is where the kingdom of the heavens is, right? So if the kingdom of the heavens is inside, Jesus said, the kingdom of the heavens is within. So when you go inside your kingdom of the heavens, this is trance. This is a state of trance because nothing from your outside world can come into this space. Then I'll ask, where is God? God must be in the kingdom of the heavens within. That means God is within you. And so this scripture is saying, test it so that you can discern for yourself. And so this scripture is saying, think for yourself. And so this person coming to me saying, well, my pastor told me that hypnosis is not for Christians and it's against the Bible. They are not using their own discernment, are they? So ask yourself, am I making my own choices in what works for me? Am I making my choices in deciding what is the will of God? Because the will of God is going to come from the kingdom of the heavens within. This means you have to go inside to make this decision, not go outside and somebody telling you what is good for you and what is bad for you, what's against the Bible, what's with the Bible. The Bible is saying right here in Romans that you have to discern these things for yourself. They'll also bring out a scripture in Romans 6, verse 16 that says, "Do you not know that if you present yourselves to anyone as obedient slaves, you are slaves of the one whom you obey, either of sin, which leads to death, or of obedience, which leads to righteousness." So using this as, here's proof that hypnosis is not for Christians, again, I'm going to turn this around, because if you're presenting yourself to anyone as an obedient slave, you are a slave to one whom you obey. So right here, okay, your minister or your pastor is telling you that hypnosis is not for Christian, and you blindly obey like a slave. You are now a slave to the one whom you obey. That means you're not obeying God. So you have to go inside. And when you go inside, this obeying of who you really are, mind and heart in unity and moving from this space, this is of obedience, which leads to righteousness. When you bring your mind and your heart into that space of unity, creating coherence, just like the scripture says, when two or more are gathered in my name, God is there. So two or more means your heart and your mind, the frequency, vibration of your mind, the vibration of your heart. You have two frequencies here coming together, creating a third frequency. Science is just now catching up with this, and they're calling this coherence. And this is when the magic happens. This is when miracles happen. This is when healings happen, and we can't explain it. So when you come into this space of trance or hypnosis, when you come into the kingdom of the heavens within, which is a state of trance or hypnosis, or what science is calling coherence, you do this yourself. This is between you and God, and there's no middleman involved. There's not me, there's not a minister, there's not a pastor who is in between you and God. So this is your choice. And so as we move on, there's also a scripture in Colossians 2:8 in the English Standard Version says, "See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Christ." And so when I work with people, especially if they come from a Christian background, we incorporate where you are right now, what you already know right now. And your faith is an important part of this. And this is according to Christ, because it has to vibe within you. I can't give you an idea or a belief or a philosophy, even through hypnosis, if you are not in alignment with it, because you have your own natural protections between what you're hearing and seeing in the world and what you're feeling in your heart, if it is according to God's will. And this is why it's really important to bring heart and mind in that space of coherence, in that space of unity. And when you're in a state of trance or in a state of hypnosis, it becomes very clear what should be there and what should not be there, because you choose 100%. So with that said, this is a new way of thinking for a lot of Christians, but you decide, because even Jesus said, test for yourself and see that it is good. Me telling you, yes, I've researched this. Yes, I've looked at the Bible. Yes, me just telling you is not enough. You need to do your own research and come to this conclusion within your heart. And if you still come to the conclusion, maybe hypnosis is not for me, I totally respect that, because you did your own research and you decided for yourself. But if you come to the conclusion saying, I've got past traumas and I've got behaviors and I've got thoughts that I want to heal and integrate into the wholeness that I am, then definitely look into using hypnosis as a tool to create this space. And so I invite you to definitely give me a call. Give me a call and let's set up a strategy session to see if one of our custom-made packages is right for you. I'm Denny Van. I am a Reverend Doctor, spiritual guide, and hypnotist, and I am here and want to talk with you. Blessings.